What's going on? What's going on, everybody? You already know what time it is, man. This is your boy, the historian. You either get right or you get left. Welcome to the Benediction post game show, a show that we didn't think we were going to have to do today. But apparently, with the way that the Falcons played today, hey, we all need a little bit of benediction today. So bring your cares, bring your fears, bring your tears, bring your holy water, and also bring your Molotov cocktails because we got to burn this thing down today. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Lord said back in the day, burn the church down and take it down brick by brick. We getting ready to take this thing down brick by brick, piece by piece. It's time for the benediction. You already know what time it is, baby. This is the BirdCage. You either get right or you get left. Let's get it.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back into the benediction. Pretty much, I'm not going to even sit here and give an introduction like I normally do to warm up everything that's happening. I'm going to call it for what it is. It's time to get rid of Arthur Smith. Today, I had my Birdcage shirt on today, but I'm telling you where I'm at right now. Most of y'all think I'm a blowhard. I'm fine with it, but I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. I'm a radical today. As you can see, I got my Malcolm X hoodie on. So right now, I'm letting you know now where I'm at today. I'm on a militant movement today, ladies and gentlemen. And when I say militant, we definitely are getting ready to dissect this team. So if you come in here saying, you don't need to talk bad about the Falcons and da-da-da, if you defend this BS, you're going to catch everything that's coming your way today, ladies and gentlemen. Because I can tell you right now, it's not pretty in Atlanta right now. Arthur Blank, you got some choices to make. Now, we've got some choices right now because I got a house full down here that's slid into the cage for this right here. But as you know how we do it, I got to bring in the magnificent Birdcage crew first, and then I'm going to start sliding folks in. And we got a special long-time guest we haven't had in a long time. It's one of the long-lost deacons of our church. So with him coming back into the building, he's definitely got some heat for y'all today. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start bringing in the magnificent Birdcage crew. You already know what it is. We got K-Dub. We got Coach Cam. We got our guy, Gray Beard, the Salt and Pepper King, not King the King. And then we have all the way in the great state of Tennessee, not Tennessee, Tennessee. We got Coach Brant into the building. We got the magnificent Birdcage crew into the building. First time in a long time, we've had all five of these talking blowhard heads onto the show. What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Good to see everyone in the building. I know it's on a somber note, but hey, man, I I want to just say that I think happens for a reason. I think its reason is we have to get us a new coach, a new direction, a new voice. And only the way for that to happen is we have to go ahead and lose and not make the playoffs. So that'll force the owner's hand. And it is what it is. We got to go through do something to get to something. But anybody else want to make a take on it? Go ahead.
Without no, I say this. Since you said going through something, I'm gonna quote the words of the great Frederick Douglass. There's no progress. I'm sorry. Without struggle, there's no progress. We've been struggling for longer than we should have been struggling for, and we still aren't seeing the progress. So guess what? It's time to progressively send Arthur Smith's ass out of the door. So all I'm saying is this: he got to go.
No,
One way or another, he got to go.
not the dough. It's the dough. We're not gonna be fumble about it. Kick his ass out the door. He got to go today, right now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
go ahead, Ray Beard. I already know what you want. Please,
ladies and gentlemen. First of all, welcome to the Birdcage. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Long time no see, Coach Brent. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's just go ahead and cut the BS right now. We sick of this shit. Arthur Smith needs to go. He need to drop his ass off in the middle of the ocean. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm tired. I can't deny it. Arthur Smith, you ain't worth it. And that's all I have to say on the last day of 2023. Now for the rest of y'all, it's time for y'all to start this revolution of a new culture, of a new mindset. And it starts with firing his ass right now. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Can I get a witness?
Yes,
And
Lord.
Scoop, don't bring that BS up in here about Richard Grant, about Arthur Smith, and the Joe Gibbs system. He's trash. He's trash. He's trash.
Hey, you see what? Wait a minute. You see what Scoop said? He said, look. He said, pass the collection plate around. He in. So what we getting ready to do? We got to bring a visiting deacon church that is. It's not. She's not a Bears fan, but she is politicking for Justin Fields to get to Atlanta. That's why she has on the jersey. She is a diehard Falcon, but she is politicking for Mr. Fields to get in here. We got to bring Miss Kibo Weir into the building, the representative and the CEO of Dog with Dynamite LLC, Georgia Bulldogs, and then welcoming also back to the congregation. We got the crooked deacon. We ain't Ron Harris. Welcome.
He ain't crooked. He ain't crooked. He a dirty deacon. That's what he is. Dirty deacon.
I'm excited to be part of this union.
Thieving ass deacon. That's what he is.
Great to have everybody in the building tonight.
Welcome to the congregation.
Nah.
So go ahead. So you know what we're going to do? Because the Magnificent Birdcage crew, we're going to let them jump on some stuff. But we're going to let the guests come in and talk about it first because you guys were, waiting in line patiently. So we're going to let ladies first. Go ahead, Miss Weir, Miss CEO of Dogs with Dynamite. Shout out for those Georgia Bulldog fans that's out here. Check out that page. Go ahead and like and subscribe and check it out. Go ahead and talk about it.
Frustrating to watch for the Falcons, from my Falcon side of me. What happened to Algier? Why not run him? He was the key against the Bears, and I saw him maybe once or twice, and that was it. If you have a quarterback that's not getting it done, that's throwing picks, why don't you adjust to something that makes you work? I said in the last live, your running backs is going to win you this game, and for whatever reason, the Falcons went away from that and stuck with throwing and passing to a situation where now you have to throw. It was not a good situation for the quarterback again. And, you know, I'm a Justin Fields fan. You know how it went down at Georgia. I still hold that against Georgia. He's a talented guy. There may be conversations that he may be traded, but he made a name for himself today. He did what he needed to do. Falcons, it came down to coaching again. Why are you not running Algier? He was hot. He was money. I just don't understand it.
So one thing that you said is I'll say this, man. One thing that you put out there, and I think that was true, and somebody echoed it like right after the game. Roddy White goes to Twitter and he says, and I'm reading what Roddy says. I got the phone right here. He says, "Hey Bears, go ahead and draft Caleb. Please, we'll take Justin off your hands, no problem. If y'all feel like he's fighting for his job, and go ahead and pick up a new QB, let my Birds get him so he can bring him back home to feel him comfortable balling." That's pretty much what he's saying. Bring him back. After today's showing with two piss poor quarterbacks, you've got to bring him back. And one of the people that has been on the train of quarterbacks is John Harris. Now, I'm going to let the Cricket Deacon take over, and then I'm going to pass it to Coach Brant, and then we're going to have the regulars to talk. And if you are trying to get into the cage today, go ahead and click on that link. It's been provided. And bring your prayers and your concerns to the Benediction altar, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Deacon John.
You know, I'm just like a mosquito on a fat man. I don't know when to start biting. It's just so many things that culminated in what you saw today. So many things. And they're all on the offensive side of the ball. They're all on the offensive side of the ball. Your defense goes out there and lays it on the line, did it for 16 freaking weeks, but got no cooperation, no help, no nothing from the offensive side of the ball. Got nothing from them. I mean, they need to file for child support because they've been feeding the kids all year long. And boy, I'm just this. I mean, it's just disgusting. People like me who are on fixed incomes now that I'm retired, we have discretionary money that we may spend if it's a worthwhile cause or something that we want to do. Falcons, you're not in the equation. You are not on the radar for me to spend my hard-earned 45-year pension money on. Okay? Not with this. Not with this. And the bad part about it today, Justin Fields may have solidified his spot in Chicago.
Yep.
And he may be unavailable. Now, we might be able to get that spot to draft somebody, but we're going to have to pay. We're going to have to pay. And, you know, it goes all the way back to 2021 when you had an opportunity with the fourth pick, not having to trade up for it, not having to do anything for it, where you could have set your franchise up with a real quarterback, a high round draft pick, somebody, you know, that you should have gotten right then. And you compound the situation by getting a third string quarterback that you did not develop. Boy, I tell you, I mean, you couldn't lie this good. If you paid me to tell a lie, I couldn't make up no lie this good.
Well, we got somebody who ain't gonna tell a lie. We got Coach Brandon to the building, and you know, our resident coach, college, high school, and a developer of quarterbacks. He's an former offensive coordinator. Coach Brant, please go ahead and bless the altar with your concerns about this franchise, or pretty much your pleasures of laughing about how foolish we've been in the front office.
My brother from another.
Hey, Deacon Harris, I gotta correct you on one thing. It's not we didn't develop a quarterback. We can't develop a quarterback. Excuse my French. Everybody, I'm going to say something that's real bad right now. We couldn't get laid up a hen's ass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm John, I'm like you, man. I've been a Falcons fan for 45 years. And I'm speechless. It's the same thing over and over and over again. It never changes. We should come out with our pants on fire today. We still have an outside opportunity to make the playoffs, and I'm speechless. I mean, you watched the game today. You saw what happened. It's terrible. I mean, it's the incompetent stuff that goes on from top to bottom. Everybody's talking about Algier not getting in. CP doesn't touch the ball today. Drake London doesn't touch the ball today, but once. We tried to get the ball to Jonnu Smith one time. Just where's Hollis at? I mean,
He's still hurt.
But he was on
the field.
He was on the field. Why can't he catch passes? He can cover a punt. You can catch a pass.
Go ahead and get back. You forgot one, Brent. And here's the thing. I want K-Dub to speak on this one because he spoke on this week. Because if you look at the difference in the lot, K-Dub, the flow is yours because you made a point on Thursday that needs to be readdressed for a majority of the fans that are watching right now. It's all yours.
I mean, well, I talked about it. The guy that didn't dealt with it, but we gotta score points when we do get a field position. I mean, we have to capitalize when we get down there. I talked about Koo missing a lot of field goals. I don't know what's going on with him, if he's had a bad breakup or something going on mentally between the ears, but we have to do better when we get down in his position to score. All the turnovers, it's been like a turnover March season. So we got to do better with the turnovers, man. I mean, like I say, we have to get better we got to get somewhere. Like I said, all the field has to go. We had to find a way to just get through the rest of these couple games and continue to move forward. Like I say, we show what we got today, and that wasn't too much of nothing. So, like I say, we got to capitalize when we get into those red zone opportunities, and we cannot come away with no points. A lot of the guys didn't touch the ball today, just like Coach Brant was touching on. And it's like you're not using those weapons properly. Whoever the next coach, whoever it may be, is gonna basically go to the Super Bowl with these guys because he got a lot of pieces. He just don't know how to drive the car. He got a Ferrari, don't know how to drive. You got the pieces and don't know how to do it. You got to get a trigger man to get those guys to football and not turn the ball over left and right, and we'll be able to move forward. But until then, it's going to be a rough process right now because we're hurting as Falcons fans, all of us across Falcons Nation. We're hurting right now because it's been 6-7 years we've been left out the party. We're trying to get in the party, man. We're tired of trying to peep in the window, trying to get in the back door. They're slamming the door on us. We haven't had a chance to get into the playoffs in so long. I only think we remember what the playoffs taste like or look like now.
I mean, I got to pick something real quick. Why is Tyler Algier our leading wide receiver in yards? Help me understand that. Help me understand.
You can't make it up.
Help me understand. This man,
common sense ain't so common no more, and you know this, bro.
He had one reception for 75 yards. Who was our second leader or wide receiver? Drake London. 4 receptions, 56 yards. Kyle Pitt had 1 reception for 5 yards. Now, on the flip side, Tyler Algier had 3 carries for 10 yards. But
hey,
yet,
I do gotta spread a little blame on the defensive side.
Go ahead.
AJ Terrell ain't been with it, man. That dude's been in another area code whenever we've been playing.
Thank you.
Well, he was lit
I
up.
can't say nothing bad about me today because I'm about to get in on his ass.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually a supporter of the AJ Terrell, but he has been playing kind of suspect. So
Kind of.
Listen,
I'm
gonna be honest with you. You know, every once in a while, you leave either a Pop-Tart in the toaster a little too long, or you leave a piece of toast in there and it gets burnt. AJ pretty much been just like a burnt Pop-Tart in the toaster. We already know what the sweetness is on the inside of the Pop-Tart. Oh, we know what it's like when we have a nice piece of buttery toast. But every once in a while, we get a piece of burnt toast, and it's just an awful taste. And he definitely left an awful taste in our mouth this week and part of last week when he got burnt. Let's just keep that real.
Between him and 21, man, it's been rough.
Well, they don't even need it. First off, that Mike Hughes don't even need the number 21. Let's get that straight.
No,
I'm not even look. I don't look. This is my thing. There are certain numbers that need to be, you know, they're not going to be retired, but it's certain numbers that aren't issued. 3 numbers are not issued. Number 60 because of Tommy Nobis, number 10 because of Barkowski, number 31 because of William Andrews. That 21, even though it was
I'm with you.
In the city, so that number should not be handed out unless you just that dude.
And why are we doing back-to-back trick plays? Help me on the first drive. Help me understand that. The first one, cool. We got them comprised, cool. And then you want to bring Desmond Ridder, in which first and foremost, it wasn't his fault. Bijan fumbled the snap. So everybody was out there trying to kill Desmond Ridder when he didn't even he don't want to cover the ball because we should be thanking him. So it to me the creativity in the play calling from Arthur Smith from the opening drive let me know that it was going to be a long day at the offense. And we have yet to eclipse 30 points this season. The closest we have gotten is 28. It doesn't make sense. We don't use our personnel correctly. He doesn't know when to call plays. I mean, he
calls the right plays at the wrong time.
Exactly.
Week after week.
I can literally cut on my I can cut on my PS5 right now and put it on Madden, and he'll call a better freaking game plan and have scripted plays better than Austin Smith, who's supposed to be a tight end guru who got the job because he had the monster among running backs and Derrick Henry back in Tennessee. Well, I'm sorry, we don't have that. We have three personnel systems with CP, Tyler Algier, and Bijan Robinson, and you still can't get it right.
We never should have drafted Bijan Robinson to be
in the first. We've been saying that for the longest, but everybody is enamored with the fact that the kid can make people miss. But here's the thing: you had a 1,000-yard runner and Tyler Algier. Yes. This man broke William Andrews' record on less carries and shared the ball with 3 different running backs.
You should have drafted Jalen Carter or number 58 for Chicago that started at right tackle today, and Darnell Wright.
Jalen Wright.
Those are
I'm gonna give you another dude that I want y'all to quote me on this because he was on one of my mock draft boards, and I also talked about it during the draft. Do you remember that I said if we weren't gonna go around the Georgia route since they like taking Gators? The guy that they should have taken on that defensive line was Javon Dexter. I said that. And Javon Dexter was a problem today for the Falcons. Period. Grady Jarrett goes down, Onyemata goes down. We're rotating pieces, and we having Taquan Graham and these other backup guys that's coming in. Street came in, he was solid. But when you get a guy like a Javon Dexter who's been healthy all year, young guy, low, you could have got him for a lower contract than what you're paying for some of these other guys. Guess what? That opens up the door for you to bring in another pass rusher, which we passed on.
Why was McGarity in the game?
That was gonna be my first question.
Why did we re-sign him
earlier?
Why is McGarity in the game?
Of course. Hold on real quick. We got somebody we get ready to bring in. We got Bree coming to the cage today. What's going on, Bree?
What's going on?
Bree, can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I had it muted, my bad.
Okay, that's cool. Go ahead. What you got for us today?
I already knew we were gonna lose. When we posted that we were leaving Atlanta yesterday, I already knew it. I don't understand knowing a situation where the weather was going to be bad. You're putting the players in a bad predicament not to get acclimated with the weather. We don't play our best ball in the cold, and it was snowing today. So that played a big factor. A lot of people were wondering why Koo was off. We didn't take consideration. It's cold. The ball is different in colder weather, so that played a factor. But we don't prepare for situations that are on the road. in any way possible. I had asked the question on a live during the game, and it wasn't answered until towards the end. I asked, in a situation that Justin plays his best ball against us, would that hurt our chances of him being up for grabs? And no
Yeah.
one, people was like, no, it don't matter. He's still getting cut. They're gonna still trade him. I'm like, that don't make sense. I said, based off of their record and the way that they finished the season, I have a strong feeling that this win is going to help keep him in Chicago, and that messes our chances of getting him.
Hey Bree,
So,
we got one thing we can hope for. Their front office is just as dumb as ours.
but when talking to someone too, Sean mentioned it would be stupid for Chicago to let him go in a situation now that they have 2 first-round picks. Why not get top players to help them on the offensive side and keep him? Why would you want to start the whole situation over with a new QB when this QB coming back off of being hurt, the team is turning around?
Chicago playing with house money right now.
I can actually answer that for you, Bree. Here's the thing: if you look at the beginning of the season, the OC that was there, he's no longer there. They found an OC that actually fits Justin Fields' type of play, and you've seen what this team has done in the last 6 weeks. They've gone 5-1, and Justin Fields has put up some of the best numbers of his career since they've gotten rid of that OC. So with the way that he played today and how the team came around him and played for him. That's just another, a signal for me to say, hey, they're not getting rid of him. And the Bears office already came out on Friday and said, hey, we might have to rethink about getting the quarterback in this draft because the way he's playing and the numbers that he's putting up and the way that the team is really playing for him, why would we change what we have going on right now? Because if you look at the way that this offense is running, this offense is putting up points. They're not putting up 3, 6, 9, 0. They're putting up close to 22 points a game in the last 6 games. And Justin Fields is the catalyst for how that offense moves. So if I was Chicago, Justin Fields is staying put. And I'm going to either build up the offensive line or I'm going to get him more weapons because that's one thing that he's lacking right now outside of DJ Moore is weapons on the outside. And Khalil Herbert was the shock of the season because where was he at the beginning of the season? So if I'm Chicago, if I'm their front office, I'm not letting him out the door. I'm going to resign him or give him a contract to where it's a 1-1. You're guaranteed 1 year, second year, you out of there.
That right there makes me even angrier. That makes me even angrier because do you remember the narrative the first year that Justin Fields was up there in Chicago?
And that's what everybody
was saying about him. Oh, we didn't need him. He ain't nothing. Look at what
We're running back.
Look at what's going on. I mean, Coach Camp. See, I didn't know that Chicago had changed the offensive coordinator. I did notice that the team was starting to play better. For some reason or other. Now, I got too much Falcon business down here that I got to take care of. That I need to look at that because, I can't look at nobody else. How you going to tell somebody else their house dirty when you got roaches racing up and down your kitchen counters and yours? I can't say anything about nobody else's team. I can't even look over there because see, I can't have no company over. I got roast. Okay, I got roast. So I got to clean my house up first before I can even talk about anybody else. And see, man, it's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating because of the fact just a few years ago, Chicago was so far in our rearview mirror, it wasn't even funny. We were so far ahead of them. We were on quote unquote track, even with a failing Matt Ryan and with our team, heading down into the dumps. We were still ahead of Chicago. They make one draft where we got the person that we should have gotten, and look at what the difference a different offensive coordinator makes. That's why
And
when people try to
that's
come
why.
and say, people try to come and say, well, if Arthur Smith got an offensive coordinator, would you want to work for Arthur Smith?
No.
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 And here's the thing that John, now I'm gonna give you this. Now, this is what Chicago has, and I don't know if anybody paid attention to it. So if y'all follow college football, y'all know who Kevin Warren is. Kevin Warren was originally the president of the Big Ten Conference. So during the COVID year, whatnot, pretty much Kevin Warren worked everything out because guess who the catalyst was to say, hey, we still want to play football and still compete. Justin Fields was the guy that literally spoke up for that. Kevin Warren is a businessman first, but he also understands football. So the deal that they ended up landing with Fox and they also landed with CBS was because of Kevin Warren. You're talking about hundreds and millions of dollars that's going into just that conference. That was his parting gift. He comes to Chicago as the president and the CEO of this organization, already having a history with Justin Fields. This man was not getting ready to let an influential player of his magnitude walk out of that franchise, or if he was going to walk out, they were going to get a lot of compensation for it. But now, after the games that he's played, as you guys have stated, the numbers that he's put up, and what he did today pretty much is going to ensure him a job. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to bring in players that are going to help him. You got Malik Neighbors coming out of LSU. Marvin Harrison Jr., he says he's staying at Ohio State, but he didn't play in the bowl game, so he might be
coming
leaving.
out. He's coming out.
So here's the thing. You have a ton of pass catchers and players that can go to that team right now because they got a guy like a Justin Fields who can give them the ball and give them a chance to win. So again, as you said before, we had a chance to be ahead of that. However, our front office decided to take a tight end opposed to trying to take a chance on a quarterback. Either way, we're stuck with what we have. Pitts is doing what he does. It is what it is. We stuck with it until he's gone or his contract renews. But we really have to figure out now up at the top, which move are you going to make? You need a quarterback because after this season's display of turnovers consistently from the quarterback position, you've got to get that. You've got to get a quarterback coach. You've also got to get a real offensive coordinator. If you decide to keep Arthur Smith,
you better not.
You got to put a stipulation. All right. If we keep you, guess what? I believe he need to be fired. But if you know what, if y'all decide to keep him, hey, you're going to bring in the offensive coordinator. We're going to bring in the offensive coordinator, and you're going to be the CEO of this team, being a head coach, and you're going to let that man work, or your job is out of here.
Worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario. If they keep that dummy, they need to go get Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. That's the only person that could even remotely resemble what Arthur Smith's trying to do and be somewhat successful, which has Jim Harbaugh ties, which is bringing me back full circle. You need to fire his ass and bring Jim Harbaugh in and jump in that pistol set and either get Justin Fields or Jalen Daniels and let's roll on next year. Let's go.
Agreed.
Well,
now,
I'm going to say this about that. If you hire an offensive coordinator and you keep Arthur Smith, you just created an automatic scapegoat.
No. What I'm saying, the worst case scenario, if you keep him, you're talking about a short timer. You're talking about a short timer. It's going to be a 1-year gig. You go get Greg Roman, who can implement the kind of
1-year gig for who?
Everybody on the team, because your ass is getting fired next year.
And here's the thing, he don't need another year, just like Bree said.
No.
But here's the thing. We already know how spineless Arthur Blank is when it comes to having to cut ties when he needs to. It's time to cut that umbilical cord. Let him go out on his own.
We don't need another Arthur. We don't need another Smith on this team. Nobody named Arthur. Nobody last name Smith.
I've already stated my claim of who I want. If we don't get Jim Harbaugh, I've already said you need to go out to San Francisco and you need to go ahead and bring in the gentleman that was in Carolina, Mr. Steve Wilkes, who got fired for no good reason. They fired him after he turned that fledgling team around, and they were damn near one game away from getting to the playoffs.
Right.
Seriously, go get him. That man can relate to players, and he can also call an offense, as well as understand letting coaches come in and do their thing. You got to start opening up, man. You can't just stay conservative like this the whole time.
Well,
That's what I agree with.
here's my thing. I don't trust Austin Smith in the draft of drafting any type of quarterback. So he doesn't need to be a part of this team whatsoever because he's not going to get what we need. He's going to try to get what he wants to boost up his ego, his self-confidence, and whatnot. That falls along with the B. John Robinson pick. We all know we need a defensive line help.
Put him in the trade package for Justin Fields and send him packing too.
You know Chicago. Look, Kevin Warren is a smart man. He ain't bringing him in, man.
Want him up
I'm
there.
just saying.
Nobody want him on the prep level. Never left the NFL level.
Does anybody see? The players are not bought in with this coach? I'm not.
No,
players are not bought in with this coach. They are checked out. It's not going to a draft and keep talking about the draft is moot point at this point. They're not bought in with this coach. You can sit on the field. The effort is not there. Let's start at getting a new coach before we can even thinking about getting the pieces there. Because I would be upset. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not here just to run down the field for nothing. I'm not utilized correctly. I'm wasting my time. This coach is incompetent. I don't want to be here. That goes down into the college. They're like, what is the best situation for me to go to the Atlanta Falcons? If that's the best situation, sure. Right now with that coach, is not happening.
And that's the
Drake played them at the beginning of the season.
Miss Kibo, I'll say this. They following that defensive coordinator.
It's not just one. They following two guys, Ron. They following two guys right now. They following Ryan Nielsen. And you got to remember, Ryan Nielsen is leaning on the veteran Jerry Gray. And Jerry Gray has credentials to where everybody listening to that dude. The man played in the league and was a first-round draft pick, a Pro Bowler, and was an All-American coming out of college. So he can definitely relate to these guys because he's been where these guys have been. Talking about playing in playoff games. You're talking about playing in regular season games, having seasons on the line when he was with the Rams, and then also when he was with the Oilers. He was a hell of a cornerback. And now you're bringing him in where he's actually coached defenses and had good defenses up under him. Look at that Green Bay defense when he was there last year.
And look at it now.
Thank you. It's totally different without Jerry Gray. The influence is here.
This is almost a Kevin Kilbride, Buddy Ryan situation.
Yeah.
Because if Ryan Nielsen need to take a poke in Arthur Smith's face, he need to drive his left fist back to the back of his skull.
John, you got a lot of people that don't remember that happened. They went to the playoffs that year, but Buddy Ryan pretty much took a swing at him on the sideline because, like he said, you keep calling this BS offense and you screwing my defense over. That's why Buddy Ryan took a swing at him. And we don't have any guys like that in the league no more, man. You know that.
I want to address something that Ms. Bree said. Now, when we went to London, I had said that we needed to leave as soon. Who did we play the week before we went to London? As soon Detroit, I think it was.
Yeah, we played Detroit.
As soon as the Detroit game was over with, we should have been going to London that evening.
Over there.
Because you got the time difference you got to get over going on the plane, as well as the time that you're going to have to get up and play the game, because the game was 9 in the morning versus 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Same thing, just like Miss Bree said about this game today. Yes, it's cold in Atlanta. Yes, it's a little chilly in Atlanta, but that ain't nothing like lake effect snow, cold coming off of them lakes, playing in Soldier Field with the wind swirling. I give Koo 3/4 of a pass because of the fact their field goal kicker couldn't even get the ball up.
You don't get a pass neither. You don't get a pass neither, brother. You don't get no pass neither, brother.
You know you made me miss my days of being underway up in Alaska back in the day when I was stationed up there and up in the New England area. When you talk about that cold, you made me think about that.
Reliable to me.
Man, I don't miss that type of code at Fort Drum.
All right. Yeah, hey Glenn, you wasn't too far away from me, dog. That's why I'm laughing when you say that.
Nah, bro, I don't miss that.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
I definitely don't know about that. But here's the question I have for everybody. Now,
real quick.
What's up?
Because on Thursday in the chat, I said we were going to lose this game because Arthur Smith has shown that he cannot win games in inclement weather.
Yep.
We lost to the.
He can't win them in good weather.
That's true. but when it
But we
calls,
play our worst, is what he's
but when
saying.
it calls,
Oh, I know.
But when it
I'm
calls,
kidding. I know that.
No, but when it calls for your run game to be the forefront of the offense,
Thank you.
he continually pulls out the guys who makes a difference.
Thank
In
you.
cold weather,
Thank
I'm pretty sure every one of us who has played football has played either in snow,
Yep.
in rain, in
Yeah.
hail, sleet, whatever it was. I played running back. I know how it feels to be hit, and I know how to lay a hit. After
And-
so many times, linebackers, defensive
You don't
tackles,
wanna
and
do it no
corners,
more.
they thinking about coming up now. They want to arm tackle or try to go under the legs. At this point, when you have a Tonka truck in Tyler Algier,
Run
you
'em.
have a bullet in Cordero Patterson, you allow them to beat up on that front seven. You go quick. You keep running the ball. Then that's where you allow your shifty guy, aka Bijan, to do what needs to be done. You let him do the cleanup.
Yeah, you spoke on the business
absolutely-
decision, bro.
There's absolutely zero reason why Tyler Algier had 3 touches through
Thank
4
you.
quarters and had 10 yards.
There was opportunity in this game.
There's
guys.
absolutely no
Winning
reason.
opportunity.
There's no reason. And I'm a defensive coordinator in high school. I'm a head coach for a football team.
Yep.
Me personally, if I know there's inclement weather, I'm going to be at the stadium prior to me having to be there. My team is going to be there to practice in it so they get comfortable. Number 2, I'm going to lean on my run. I'm going to lean on my running offense. Because if you're a defensive guy, you're going to have to make those hard decisions on do I want to tackle or not. Because I don't want to keep getting hit by a 245-pound man who's running at me consistently.
Yeah.
And speaking from a perspective of being a former safety, I definitely get it. When you talk about a business decision, every safety in the NFL, you can even look at Ronnie Lott, it don't matter, Hall of Famers. Everybody has made a business decision at least once or twice in their life. It doesn't matter. You saw Jesse Bates make a business decision today.
No
lie.
He made a couple.
Jesse is that dude, but I'm gonna tell you just like this. If you looked at it, Bijan Robinson's backup that was in Texas, that dude is nothing but a tank with speed, and he's a little looser. He's not as fast as Bijan, but if you notice in that short yardage when Jesse Bates had it, think about it. Jesse comes up full-fledged, back straight, and actually hit him. He didn't hit him square because Jesse already knew, like, nah. And you got a guy that's coming from Cincinnati who understands how to play in the cold. So looking at that, you're right. And the problem was this: Tyler Algier falls forward every week. We say this every week. He falls forward, and he averages 3 to 4 yards a carry. That's a problem. You have an aggressive Chicago defense who likes to load the box. Here's the thing. Me and K-Dub was talking about this when they had a 3rd and short and they ran that play action and they threw it to Pruitt going to the side. We didn't have many play actions that we were running when we had short down and distance like that. And honestly, the tight ends were barely used today. So my question is, what logic do we have right now with this offensive identity? And as the late, great Denny Green said, this is just what it is.
But they are who we thought they were. And we come off the hook.
That's pretty much what it is, dog. Like Denny Green said it. They are who we thought they were. And this is a problem. It's time to get rid of this dude and literally bring in somebody with some fresh ideas and somebody who has a mindset to attack. People trash Jim Harbaugh, but you look at all his teams he's coached, from Stanford, from San Francisco when they beat us, going to the Super Bowl that year with Cap. And then you also look at the Michigan team. Michigan was dead in the water. That man's turned them around, and they've been in the playoffs year in and year out. Even with the scandal that they have going, he definitely has whispered to J.J. McCarthy and put him in the range of where he can be a high 2nd round, low 1st round pick. So why wouldn't you want to bring a guy like that into Atlanta?
I mean,
you need to get rid of Caleb McGarry too. He can go work for McDonald's. He saw
Absolutely.
He wouldn't even get the apple turnovers right up in McDonald's. What you talking about?
No. He could go to McDonald's because he saw the soft serve ice cream. He could fix their damn problem for the ice cream machine being broken.
No.
Can I make a point about the Falcons today, despite the score? What I noticed, though, and I don't want people to use an excuse for Arthur Smith, is that on the line of scrimmage, both quarterbacks had time, and I'm focusing on that aspect. So the line did enough for the Falcons to capitalize. What I don't quite understand is if you're going to call these pass plays or whatever and give your quarterback time to throw, what is the play calling design to get your playmakers involved? That's where I got confused, because now there's opportunities for the Falcons to put points on the board. Yes, Koo missed some crucial field goals, and even though it's windy, it's been starting to be a consistent issue with Koo right now, why I'm concerned about him as a kicker. I mean, this happened before. It wasn't throwing, and he still has missed. But my thing is, if you're going to call these pass plays, put in a situation to call these pass plays, who are you getting the ball to? It's like you call something, but the execution is not there for whatever reason.
Right.
That's frustrating to me with Arthur Smith. It's like, if you're going to go and be cute and whatever, then make sure you get the person the ball. Get these playmakers the ball. I don't understand it. And
well, you got to pump the brakes on that, because you got two quarterbacks on the roster that cannot make a decision. Period.
None.
They're like junior high quarterbacks. I've coached high school quarterbacks that can pull the trigger better than that. I mean, look what happened with Heineke today. He turned the ball over 3 times.
3.
And then Ritter came in again and
does the same thing. I mean, hold on a second, stupid dog. Early on in the game, you saw Heineke come in the game, and he was hesitant to run, and then he finally did and started making it. Did you notice when Justin Fields decided he wanted to run, he took off?
Yes.
He didn't even think.
Make a decision. Yes. Go. Yes. Just go one way or the other. Either it's kind of like being pregnant. You are or you ain't. Do it one way or the other. Just go. Make something. Just go. Don't hesitate. If you hesitate as a quarterback in the NFL, you are losing. I promise you. Nothing good is coming out of it.
In all honesty, McGarry gave up the draws 98% of the time. He got rest.
What else can do?
So every time we looked up, Heineke, when he did have time to throw, he was in duress because Montez Sweat was pushing McGarry right into him.
Another player that we should have gotten this year.
Another player we should have gotten, but hey, we didn't.
Yep. We lost the same way. We lost the same way last year against Buffalo.
Exactly.
In inclement weather. It was snowing. We didn't run the ball. We tried to get cute, and we got smashed.
So here's the question I got for everybody. We had money left over, right? From the offseason. We had money left over, right?
Yeah.
We could have signed somebody to a short-term contract, and then next year when the money was here, then you give them some money, like a pass rusher. You had Danielle Hunter, and then you also had Montez Sweat. Sweat wanted to come back to Atlanta. Hunter actually wanted to come to Atlanta, and they passed on it. And I mean, you've been bringing is my thing.
Twice this year.
Exactly. You've been bringing veteran players in to Atlanta, and and it's worked for the defense because you have experienced guys teaching these young guys pretty much how to play defense. They have a voice in that locker room. We call, his nickname was the mayor of Saxonville, but we call it Sacklanta here in Atlanta because we definitely got Big Calais Campbell. That is the leader on that defense. Jesse Bates is his right-hand man. And the reason why you see Calais Campbell, I got to give it to him. I didn't think he was going to be as effective this year because he's a little long in the tooth, but he found the fountain of youth this year. He found the fountain of youth. Not many people can run down Justin Fields and sack him. He did that today and brought him down. That's a full-grown man at that defensive line. And he's mentoring Zach Harrison, who is our future pass rusher. And I'm saying this, on this offensive side of the ball, guess what? Killian touched on this earlier this week, and he's been talking about it all year. If you don't draft the center, go get you a veteran who understands how to read defenses, how to call plays, and how to help out your quarterback when your quarterback is literally gunshot. That's what you need. And the problem is Terry Fontenot understands football because not only did he play on a collegiate level, he worked through the ranks with the Saints. He did. And he understood from being a gopher, moving all the way up to now being a GM. That man understands how to draft. He understands how to scout talent because think about it. Most of the guys that went to New Orleans, you had a few big-time players that came from big-time schools, but where did he scout most of his players from? Division II schools and piss-poor D1 schools that no one would look at and find talent and turn them into literally instant success. And that was the reason why they competed for so long. Now we have that recipe here in Atlanta. Why not let this man cook? You brought the chef in here, let him shop for his groceries, and let him go ahead and make a meal for us. You know, K-Dub, I'm gonna let you go ahead and put his nickname out there. You named him earlier, but that's his name now.
His name is gonna be Terry Fugal Fontenot.
Frugal, Mr. Terry Frugal Fontenot, the only man that can stretch a dollar and still bring in great talent and still have money left over to play with.
Now let's talk about the defense. Honestly, the defense is number one in red zone scoring. The defense was the last. This defense was the last defense to give up a first quarter touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So when your defense is giving everything that they have, and they was built by Terry Frugal Fontenot, he brought all those guys in. He went to people that he knew, that he personally knew. He had a relationship with Ryan Nielsen. He brought him in here. And you look at how the defense is playing. The defense shows a week in and week out. When the offense or missed field goals by Cool sets up the defense in short field positions, you cannot expect our defense to do what they normally do if they have to force a team to go 80-plus yards. Today, the average starting field position for Chicago was at the 40. That's the short field. And for anyone who's played football, you do understand starting at the 40 is not a good position to put your defense in. Because one big play, they're already they're on your side of the field.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, Art Smith has truly hurt this team more than he's helped it. And it doesn't help that we've had shiny quarterback play all season. I was one of the biggest Desmond Ridder fans that there was. I wanted Desmond Ridder to come out to be great. I wanted him to be drafted. And when we did draft him, I was one of the first people yelling about it. He's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And guess what? Now I got to eat crow because this man that made me look bad. If I see Desmond Ridder in Atlanta, we squaring up. I'm going to punch him and his kids.
Can I
now the bad part about all of
that bothers me when y'all say I got to say something. That bothers me when y'all say that. Because I'm coming from an aspect of an educator, and I have had kids that were on their worst behavior, didn't put any effort in doing their work. But when I got them, they were a turnaround kid. We spoke on this earlier, saying the same thing about Justin Fields. And when he got somebody that he could relate to, he's been playing his best ball. And I feel like it's the same.
Bree. There's two different things going on.
But he has no quarterback coach. He has an awful offensive coordinator. That
has nothing to do with decision making. That has nothing to do with decision making.
But he hasn't been development as a quarterback on the NFL level.
That has nothing to do with your awareness and
it truly
decision
does.
making.
It truly
and the
does.
thing is, Fields is light years ahead of him, even when they were in college with talent. The problem was he played for Luke Fickell, who is not a quarterback developer, and he pretty much let Desmond play schoolyard ball. And, Desmond made some throws. He was going to a quarterback coach on his own time. Luke Fickell was a guy that did not develop quarterbacks. If you look at it, you look at how bad their quarterbacks are struggling in Wisconsin, and Luke Fickell just left and took that job. He's had a history of guys playing well in college, but when they get to the league, they all fizzled out because they're not developed. And some of the intangibles he has, when you talk about being able to get rid of the ball at a certain time, take off out of the pocket, that is stuff you learn when you're a high schooler coming up. You got 2 seconds, really 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to throw the football. If you don't have anything, you run. If you decide not to take off, you're going to have a 300-pounder barreling down on you. Go ahead, John. What you got?
Now, Coach Brandt.
Yes, sir.
This is something I want to, bounce back and forth with you. with your permission, gentlemen. Now, Desmond Ridder had a quarterback coach in the offseason. All right. Kind of like he went to quarterback camp, kind of like Tom Brady, like Matt Ryan finally did after Kyle Shanahan showed how bad he was. But is it fair to say that the 17-week brain drain in live competition hurt him because of the fact you had no one there for the 17 weeks of the regular season when he first got here and was sitting on the bench, as well as this year when he was thrown into the fire to point certain things out. Because I remember the Texans game where Ridder looked excellent. He was making quick decisions. He was decisive. He was throwing the ball where he needed to throw it. And I had hope for him after that game. But the very next week, it was just like he reverted back into what
you can thank play calling for that. You can thank play calling for that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. So, making decisions and making reads and throwing the ball into coverage and whatnot. And let me put it in really plain terms. As a kid, when you walk up and you stick your finger in a light socket, what happens to you?
You get shot.
And if you keep going back and you keep sticking your finger in that light socket, what happens?
You're going to get shot again.
Whose fault is that?
Yours.
Okay. So his awareness and decision making has nothing to do. I can coach a kid. Hey man, look, when they're playing cover 2 and I'm giving them 2 vertical look, and I look over that hold on, I'm gonna get technical with you. If you want to talk about it, let's talk. Because this happened in Jacksonville. They were playing a cover 2 shell, and they ran a high-low right there. And the number two went vertical, so that meant that the corner bailed and played. He was smart. He backed up in his zone. Okay, he didn't just play the flat. He went with the number 1, and he tried to force one in there, and it got picked off. You have to know that. I've coached kids in high school that can do that. That's nothing. Listen, the only difference between the NFL and high school and stuff like that is the speed. I hate to say, I know that sounds cliche, but you have guys that weigh 280 pounds running as fast as you have guys weighing 220 pounds in high school. That's the way that it breaks down. And he's making the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Turn up.
Hey, Coach Brent, now I want you to answer this for me. Hold up, John. I want you to answer this for me, Coach Brent. Now, we all talk about this when we talk about high school ball. Now, you're talking about it at high school level just now. You just broke that down. Now, you look at where most of your best players are coming out of. They're coming out of pro-style systems that teach these guys how to play. And outside of pro-style systems, let's just look at it. Look at the whole South. You can go anywhere in the South and find that, because I can tell you in Florida, the speed of the game is fast. That's why the running joke is all the kids that come out of the state of Florida are faster than the crackhead running out of a house with a VCR. It's the truth. Right. Georgia's right there with them. When you look at it, and you look at some of these defensive players that come through, and you have to understand, as a quarterback, you got these guys running as fast as your wide receivers. That's not good. Coming off the edge, 280, 275 defensive ends, and then you got 300-pounders that can run under 5 seconds at 4'9", 300-pounders. So you have to understand your decision-making has to be quick, because if it's not, you're pretty much getting ready to get laid out, or you getting ready to get put out. I got to bring somebody else in. We got Coach McGriff coming to the stage. We got another head coach coming to the building. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, Coach?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I just was able to chillax and watch some football this day. Kind of watched a little bit of everybody, bruh.
You didn't see no
It's
football
same old song and dance. And it was summed up on one play. The Justin Fields break 16 tackles and run and get the first down. That sums up the entire season right there. That one play just tells you everything. You know when your year ain't going for you. That's just the time when you like when you love a team. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna just call it. They already telling me what it's all about. You know what I mean? Luckily, we only got one more week of suffering.
I mean, that's how you gotta look at it. That's why I'll try to be polite.
And if you want to look at the bright side, thank you. We just jumped ahead. Well, no, we didn't jump ahead of the Bears because they got the first pick regardless. So, you know, I guess we jump ahead of them on their second pick that they didn't get from Carolina. So,
yeah.
No, the number one pick is from Carolina.
Yeah, the number one pick is from Carolina, because if you remember.
Well, I'm saying they got Carolina's number one pick, but don't they have their own also?
Yeah, I think they have two.
So we get two. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got the number one overall pick that they're getting from Carolina, but they have their own draft pick that they would now at 7 and 9 that would have put us instead if we'd have won this game, would have been drafting behind them. Now we'll actually be drafting ahead of them at least in one of their spots.
Oh, okay.
We'll go out and score 45 next week and cost us a draft pick. Watch. God damn, that's the way we do, man.
That's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna go out there.
Falcons are going Falcon, y'all.
Hey, just like Memphis is going Memphis, Falcons going Falcons.
I used to say this thing a long time ago. Mediocre does nothing but keep you mediocre. I would rather go 2-14, 1-15, so you can have a chance to build with a whole bunch of picks that high in every round instead of being mediocre and you getting everything that's left over in every round. You never get the elite guys because you never play elite ball or bad enough to get those guys. And it's just like they I don't know. This is to the point where if you don't cut bait right now, you ain't planning on cutting bait. You're gonna stick with what you want, and you think you're smarter than everybody else. That's all it is. And being a Jaguar fan, I've seen almost 20 years of that. So I see this already. So I already know what you're in for. You know what I mean? When it's a chance to actually take this division, especially now that the Falcons are still fairly young and everybody else in the division is getting old. You're gonna mess around and let everybody catch back up with you because you want to be stubborn.
Well, there's my question for you. Is, offensively, there's no leader. That's the thing that makes Justin Fields for the Falcons. The team is built around his leadership. When things break down, when things doesn't work out, because I was frustrated with the Bears, their owners and whatever, that's a whole nother can of worms. To the point where it's like Justin Fields, quarterbacks go to Chicago to die. That's the whole story about Chicago. But his natural ability, his leadership ability is what gave them over the edge. I don't see that on Atlanta Falcons. So it's kind of frustrating because do you want to get that veteran presence to lead these young guys? These young guys are hungry. They're going to be hungry. They got something to prove. That should start at the coach as the leadership to say, hey, when things don't go right, what am I going to do to get out the situation? There's no leadership on anybody on the offense, including the head coach.
Well, because that's the blind leading the blind. He ain't never been nothing anyway. All he is has been a play caller on a mediocre to below mediocre offense. I mean, the only reason that the Titans were good because they caught the rest of the AFC South on a down year. Now you look at the AFC South. Everybody in the AFC South now is 9-7, with the exception of the Titans. You get what I'm saying? And they were, because everybody got bad enough where they can actually get talent to do something. Even though Minshew ain't nobody great, but he's better than what everybody else got. What the Titans got. You know what I mean? You look at the division. They got the worst quarterback play, so they got the worst team in the division. You look at everybody else who's playing. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield is probably playing the best quarterback in the NFC South.
Jeez.
and look at the results.
All people.
All people.
You just the best looking grave in the graveyard.
Yep. You know what I mean?
But
hey, Whoopi Goldberg will look like a dime piece next to Rosie O'Donnell now. Come on.
No, but to keep on point,
you get what I'm saying? So.
And something you said, I wanted to, and I need to ask everybody this.
Yeah.
Think about this season. How many games have we played where we didn't beat ourselves?
That's a great question.
All
Seven.
but two.
There was a
Seven.
very winnable game.
Yep,
The
I was
All
saying
but
seven.
two.
I count 7 right off hand, but 2 of them we just got beat like we stole something.
Yep.
And that's
But
happened.
check this-
That's happened to everybody at least once this season. You
Exactly.
look
Well,
at
that's happened
all
to
the
us
teams, with,
3
and maybe
years.
with the exception of Baltimore, everybody in the league had at least a 2 or 3 game losing streak.
And
Everybody.
Philly just got embarrassed at home 2 weeks ago by the 49ers. They hung a 49 piece on them, all drums and no flats.
They got
Look-
embarrassed
literally.
today by the
They
Cardinals.
got embarrassed.
I'm telling
They
you.
did. That was
And they
true.
lost, they lost today to the
Look
Cardinals.
at Kansas City. They got embarrassed by the by the Raiders last week, and they're
Last week.
struggling right now with the Bengals.
Yeah, they
And
struggle.
then-
Yeah, they
Now
struggle.
we know
And
what
then look at Dallas.
problem
As much
is.
as I hate to say it, I can't stand the Cowboys for anything in the world.
We
Just like
know
I can't
what
stand the
Kansas
Saints.
City's problem is. Kansas City
Well,
problem. They
hey,
need to
bro.
take all
Here's
of
the
those
story.
in Kansas
Yep.
City
Yeah.
and take a 2x and splinter it across their head.
And
Those
And
those
then-
receivers couldn't catch a cold if somebody sneezed dead in the face.
And you notice, John.
For damn.
Now, John,
That's
we
because
talked
they priced
about this
themselves
now.
out of the market. They couldn't even afford to keep they couldn't even afford to keep Juju Smith. They'd have been the number 1 seed if they would have had a number 1 target.
Yep.
But they couldn't even afford to keep Juju because they're paying all these other guys, and that's what happens. Everybody forgets when the Patriots were winning all those championships is because everybody understood that they had to leave some meat on the bone. They didn't try. All their players were not good. Even Brady was not the top paid quarterback. And if you don't leave enough money in the salary cap so everybody else can get some kind of pay, you're not going to have a roster. Yes, you might have 2 or 3 good guys that are great, but what happens when their play slips or when a quarterback has nobody that he can rely on? It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
I've said it a million times. Last year was the first time in NFL history that a team has won the Super Bowl when their quarterback salary took up more than 13% of the salary cap.
Fact.
And it was an anomaly last year because they never should have been there. So
Well,
you have to make sure that your people that it's spread out all over the whole team and not in just buckets.
well, with
Kibo.
now,
Kibo.
now,
Go
here's
ahead,
Here's
John.
the thing, Kibo.
Hold
This
up,
for
hold
you.
up. Let John cook. Wait a minute. Let John
Wait.
go.
y'all go ahead now. I don't want to dominate the conversation or whatever. Y'all
No,
go.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
go
You a
ahead.
guest on here, big dog.
Well, that you don't come in somebody else's house and eat up all the fried chicken and.
Well,
don't
I
have
just
to eat
gave.
nothing.
Listen, you the crooked deacon. I just gave you the big piece of chicken. You darn hood crook. You hoodwinking everybody. So go ahead.
Hey, look
Save
out
me
here.
a thigh.
Look,
Save me a thigh.
no good joker getting all the chicken. At any rate, but what I'm gonna say is that okay, it's just so frustrating. So many thoughts just come right here to me. How frustrating this is now, because who is calling the shots? This is the thing. Who is calling the shots?
Good
If
question.
you have, and see, this is the problem. Your general manager should never be equal to your head coach. Never. Your
John,
president
you know
of
why.
football operations, what is he doing?
John, you know why that is, though.
John, you
You
ain't
know
even
why
got
that
to go
is.
into the rhetoric, though.
You know why that
why.
is.
You know why this man is not in charge, man. Like, he doesn't have full autonomy. You know why.
When you take a
Thomas
job like
Dimitrov,
that,
Thomas Dimitrov was never hamstringed like they're hamstringing Terry. Let's keep that straight. Thomas Dimitrov was never hamstringed like they're hamstringing Terry right now.
You
And
don't
the
rank
reason
in the head coach before a GM. You just don't.
Exactly. Terry
Yeah.
is pretty much in a he's pretty much a one-legged man in the karate kicking contest, kicking himself, trying to literally kick somebody and falling down in the process. That's really what it's like.
now do
You
you
want to know
remember?
you want to know the bad thing about this whole situation is every one
What's
of
that?
y'all and me, myself included, we all care more about the Falcons than Arthur Blank does because it's a damn tax write-off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being serious.
Yep.
It's a tax write-off for them. If they win, good. Oh, I'm still going to clear a bill. Okay, cool. He
Well,
don't care.
so now
People-
Arthur Blank. See, I get the impression, I may be wrong. I get the impression that Arthur Blank cares the same way that Ted Turner cared when he was in charge of the Braves and
Ted Turner never won.
Ted Turner tried to win ball games, and he tried to bring in players that actually can make a difference. You can't compare those two.
No.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm paying people hundreds of millions of dollars to play football, and coaches included, you're gonna do your job, or I'm gonna get somebody else to come in and do it. I promise you. I promise you.
Coach,
like Arthur Blank would have left on a train today. He wouldn't even have got his ass out of the locker room. He'd have been gone last week.
We'd have put him on the mega bus today for $1.
Now this is the problem. That committee that they formed to find a head coach, because Arthur Blank can't pick him. Okay. He formed a committee to find a head coach when they went and got Arthur Smith. It was the same thing with the previous coach, with Dan Quinn and with Jim Moore.
No. We don't need to go through no more searching firms. He need to have his own eye test of what we want.
But thing is, that's
I'm gonna tell you that that's no. Coach, I didn't mean to cut you off. That same head coaching searching firm that you talk about are the same group of people that they went to go find Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh God! No.
Preach.
Same group of people.
They
just said it. He just put that up. Ain't nobody did that. They already knew who they were gonna get when they wanted to. That wasn't a real searching crew. That was if you wanna find a real qualified head coach, we're gonna do just like when we was on the last time. We're gonna go and get some people who know what they're doing, who know how to win, know what winners look like, and have them give you the recommendations on 2 to 3 head coaching candidates. And you interview
Coach, if you look back at all of the coaches that were available, Arthur Smith was at the top of the list.
Okay.
And then they made that. There were about 3 or 4 other coaches that, I mean, this is for the whole league. You had about 3 coaches that were at the top of the list, and Arthur Smith was one of them. Now, that searching committee, that whoever these people were, they selected him. And they selected him before they selected a general.
You and I on that
might have an
committee.
echo, buddy.
That's what you explained it exactly for me. They didn't have a committee. That was just something they said.
Who's echoing?
I think that was you, John. Let me see.
Hey, Coach, go ahead one more time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think that's you, John.
Yeah, that might be you, John.
Yeah, that's you. Just step out and come back in. I got you.
Now, back to you, Keith. I've been trying to get to you for the longest. When you brought up Justin Fields' leadership, right? He went to his management team because he was saying, I don't have people that can coach me to my potential and my skills. For 3 weeks, he said this. The following week before their bye, the OC got fired, and they brought in a guy that fit Justin Fields while he was also coming off of an injury. So he had time to learn the playbook and be coached under this guy for 3 to 4 weeks. We don't have that here in Atlanta because we don't have a franchise guy playing quarterback. Number 2, Arthur Smith is in cahoots with Arthur Blank's daddy. So even if we wanted to get rid of Arthur Smith, we should have got rid of him at the during the bye week. In my opinion, if you wanted to salvage this season, because we were still leading the way at that time, you should have got rid of Arthur Smith and brought in someone, or at least moved up either a Jerry Gray, Ryan Nielsen, or someone else to take over the team for the remainder of the season, because we wouldn't be in this predicament that we're in now. So the leadership here in Atlanta it's like
garbage.
Ryan and
shitty.
earlier,
garbage.
It's really hamstrung because when you hire a head coach or you tamper with an offensive coordinator during the time he's still in the playoffs. You had the man hired while he was still technically as a part of the Tennessee Titans. He was already predetermined as the head coach moving forward. You brought him in, then you bring in a GM, and you take away all his power, because in all honesty, the GM should have the ability to say, hey, you know what, this ain't going the way that it should be going, and it's time for me to move on to somebody else. This is the end of a 3-year rebuild that they talked about. First year, 7-9. Second year, 7-9.
Guess what?
This year, we looking at another 7-10.
So hold up, Cam. So Kibo's got to run. She just hit us up or whatnot. I want to thank you, the CEO and president of Dogs with Dynamite, for coming through. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me. Hugs to all you guys.
Most definitely. We appreciate you for coming through.
Happy New Year.
Dogs.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. So we figured out kind of where the echo is coming from. I put it in the chat so everyone can see that or whatnot. We figured out because I had to mute everybody's mics real quick. But now it's not there. But like I said, you got to try to do it again.
Testing.
Oh, it's still you.
Yeah. No, it's not John. It's not John. No. John came out. His was clear because I'm hearing it right through the headphones or whatnot. I had to mute everybody's mic. No, it was Bree's mic. So Bree, come out and come back in and try. Let's try it again because I think that was yours on that one. Okay. So everybody talk.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right. No echoes right now. So yeah, she's coming back in. So we'll bring her back in.
So my question for the panel. Next week, we got to play arguably our work rival in the division in the ain't. What do you think we gonna come out? We gonna come out with you, or we just getting ready for the off season next week? What do you think?
Nah, knowing Arthur Smith, he's gonna try to win this game because he wants.
Yeah, we're gonna try to win.
Well, here's the thing: anytime we can beat the Saints is always a good day.
Exactly. That's my question.
But you've got to look. You can't come out and play a football game half. You got to play to win.
True.
Regardless of where we are, where we stand, what's going on, you got to play to win. If you don't play to win, somebody's gonna get hurt unnecessarily. You got to play to win. Now, it is very unfortunate that we are in the predicament that we're in, where it would be better for us to lose than to win. But you got to win. You got to play to win. You know,
because
here's the sad part about it,
win
John.
the division next week.
And John, here's the sad part about it. We talked about this, and freaking Scoop said it earlier. You know, outside of the Bucks or whatnot, if we finish, the Bucks went 8-9 today. If we finish 8-9, we win the division. Yep. Either way, it's gonna be piss poor, but we would still get the division. Now, you have to beat the Saints next week. This is what it's coming down to. You have to beat the Saints next week, pretty much to even have a chance to even get in, because all the cards have lined up, even though it's been piss poor this year for the Falcons. They still can win the division right now. That's the sad part.
If we don't win,
I'm just saying, as bad as it was today.
A lifelong Falcons fan, I would just assume us miss the damn playoffs. It means his ass is out here.
That's right.
Yeah, if it means to get Arthur Smith out of here, I agree. But if we go to the playoffs, you know Arthur Blank is gonna try to keep him
for 2 more years at least.
Exactly.
And see, and I task, and I know this is a big ask from me, but I task each and every one of you. If we win the playoffs, remember how we did it. Because history will, if you go back and look at the standings all by themselves, it'll say, the Falcons won the division back in 2023. But how we did it, that will be lost to memory. That'll be lost to memory. And then somebody will come and say, in defense of some of these stupid things that have taken place, well, Arthur Smith, he won the division now back in such and such and such a time because.
But here's the problem with that, John.
But we don't have a winning.
But John, here's the thing,
John. We don't have a winning.
They get into the playoffs. You talking about losing the division or whatnot? I'm saying we win the division. You talking about going to the playoffs or whatnot? It's gonna be horrible. Shout out to Ice Cold Gaming, man. My brother Kev in the building. But just think about it, man. You lose in the playoffs. Everybody's licking their chops to get to Atlanta because they know Atlanta is not going to be consistent. And everyone won't want to play the Falcons. Everyone going to want to play them because
once
it's
again,
like, look,
we'll be a stepping stone.
Pretty much.
We've been a stepping stone for the last 3 years. This man under Arthur Smith, he is
The last
20,
three?
he in 20, yeah, and well,
The
you might
last
want
three?
to you might want to say 3 years
The
after
last
this year.
6.
Well, I'm
The
talking
last
about under
6.
I'm talking about
last
under
five.
Arthur.
Breeze holding up 5 right there. It's only 5.
Okay, well, in the
Yeah,
last 5
5.
years, years,
Mhm.
Arthur Smith is 20-29 as a starting head coach. We don't even we have not had a winning season
Since
since
2017.
2017.
6
Yeah, man, it's been a
years.
long time.
6 years.
That's half a decade.
6 years. That's
So,
Hey,
6
man,
years.
if
somebody kid starting high school and some of them just graduating high school.
my niece just graduated. Man, my niece just graduated high school is in college right now.
I'm
That's how old
telling
it
you.
can be. All I'm saying is this: if Arthur Blank don't look at that track record and don't think that it is time for a culture change, I don't know what else we can say or do unless not just show up. Because I'm going back to with Grady Jerry said last year. Same old shit, just different year.
Yeah.
Eat, drink.
Yeah.
Smoke
I-
them tweets
I-
anytime.
I got
Exactly.
something, and I want to give y'all a compelling reason when I say you want to not win this game. Here's the reason. Here's my reasons. First of all, we're looking at this as fans. We're not media right now in this form. Let's be fans for a minute. Fans get to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
As you thinking long term, and like everybody's already pretty much resigned. Even if you win a division, you're gonna be out the following week. So you just extended the misery by one more week.
Mhm.
On top of that, if you win a division, here's the first thing that you got to think about. Next year, you'll play a first place schedule. Now, you could go from being in a division winner and a first place schedule, just like the Jaguars have done. And then the next year, you go back to being 3-15 or something like that because you're playing a first place schedule. And what divisions do you have next year coming in that you'll be playing? I think you'll be playing the AFC West and the NFC East.
Yep.
Now,
I'm going to
hold
Vegas
on.
next year.
Let me ask
You
about
get what I'm
this
saying?
first place
So-
schedule.
so-
Let me ask about this first place schedule because we have.
Let me finish. So with that being said, if you're playing the AFC West, first of all, they're going to probably have 1 or 2 new coaches. The Chargers will probably have somebody more competent being their head coach with that talent they got.
Yep.
And then you're playing all these things. And on top of that, your draft, be a division winner, you're going to go from right now being number 11 in the draft standings to probably 17 or 18. So how are you going to replenish that roster when you're in the playoffs and now you even got less talent in the talent pool in the draft pool that you're going to be at, which means you got to spend more money in free agency to make sure that you replenish all the guys. Because you remember you got some guys coming up with contracts. You also got guys that you brought in that were on 1-year deals that you're going to want to keep. How you going to be able to do all that, manage the salary cap, and not have high draft picks because you won a division and lost the following week just to say you won the division trophy. That's why when you think long term, that's why I use that term. Being mediocre does nothing but keep you mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let me ask you about this first place schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we already have our opponents lined up for the next 2 years, except for 2 odd games already.
Doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It goes by. You go by your division, then they go by every year. They rotate divisions every year, but they do the divisions by the standings. The first place teams play the first place teams in all the other divisions. The Jaguars have played every team that won a division this year. All the division champions do that.
Yep.
Well, now, now if you go into futureschedules.com, it has all of the schedules for the next 3 years.
No, that ain't they can't because they don't know who's gonna win a division. They can go by whose division's playing who, you know what I mean, how that rotates, but they still don't know exactly who's playing who, when, and where. And that's what I'm saying. You're gonna also play across conference first place schedules. That's why you look at all the teams that were last year that had good teams. They're playing such tough schedules at the end of the year because they played. They're going by your finishing of the following year. All the division winners are playing nothing but the division winners. They definitely are scheduling those games.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So the last place, that's why you have a lot of teams can go from worst to first because they plan very, and I mean, it always changes up because somebody comes out of nowhere that's always good that you wasn't expecting and vice versa. But like the average team's going to always play those first place schedules, going to play, and the team that has the last place schedule is going to play a last place schedule. Now teams just happen to get better because sometimes you had a team that had the injury bug, but they were really talented and stuff like that, and they get healthy the following year.
Because, see, we knew we were playing Las Vegas this year 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you didn't know whether they were going to be first place or last. You didn't know they were going to be first place or third place. You know what I mean? Or last place.
Say what?
You didn't know if they're going to be first place or last. You knew you're going to play. We were going to play them because they're based on the conference rotation and the divisional rotation. Like we know we play you guys every 4 years. If we're not at the same level, because say give you example, you guys end up in third place and the Jaguars win. You get what I'm saying? We won't play you at all for another 4 years because you're not going to be you're not going to play at the same schedule. You won't have a first place schedule. You'll have a third place schedule. If the Jags win, the Jags will have a first place schedule. Now you can end up playing again next year if the Jaguars lose this game next week and the Texans and the Colts win. The Jaguars going from being a division winner to third place in the division if they lose to the Titans. Well, and then y'all do the same thing. Y'all will play again next year because it'll be third place team. Somehow they'll make it play each other.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to take a look at that because I guess I might have been under misconception. But this right now, the state of our team right now. See, our schedule being the weakest schedule in the NFL this year automatically told me that, okay, even if you won this division, you really weren't doing anything in being in one of the worst divisions in the NFL. Weak division, weak schedule. I mean, you down at the bottom. Now, if you really were going to impress anybody, you would have blown everybody out that you played. Kind of like what New England did with the AFC East when they were king of the roost over there. Because the AFC East used to be just plain trash, except for New England, that would always feast on an easy schedule and then beat other people when they got to the playoffs as well as the Super Bowl. Now, this situation right here with whether we really have a good team or not. Even with the strides that we had, even with the running game that we have here now, I still cannot say in all good conscience that I have a team that I can hang my hat on. Even that particular part of it, because see, we have quote unquote half of a team. Defense, excellent, top 10. Offense, no. And
but John, let me ask you something. So when Dan Quinn was here, he wound up being a product of the salary cap, wound up biting him in the hind end because we paid 3 or 4 people and it wound up costing us. But all in all, you can take the Super Bowl decision out, but all in all, he did a pretty good job of getting us to where we wanted to be. All right. Money was his problem. This dude here, he's got all the money in the world and he can't get right.
He's incompetent.
Exactly.
I'll say this.
Understatement.
Very incompetent as a head coach.
That's an understatement, coach. You might as well just go ahead and give him. He's more like, to me, I feel like Arthur Smith is a bit of an invalid. That's the best way to describe him. When it comes to football, he's a football invalid. Seriously.
Yeah.
He's brain dead.
He's straight utter garbage.
And I'm just being
a donkey.
Dumpster juice.
When you look at the decision making that this man has had, you look at the talent that this man has brought in. Now, any logical coach, and you coach offense, coach, and so does Coach Brent. But y'all also understand, y'all got 2 guys, and I'm just speaking on it. Now, we know the identity of the offense is the running game. and the tight ends. You have yet to really have a consistent game. You've never had a complete game. And the thing I preach on all the time, and it was something I learned from you, I learned it in high school, but you had an emphasis on it when I played for you. You talk about special teams. Special teams for Atlanta has also been MIA this year and inconsistent.
Trash.
Not just cool. Let's talk about the punter.
Yeah, that's
he's literally shanked. Yeah, Bradley Pinion got to go. You got to get a better punter. Period. Now at this
you
point,
get one of them Australian cats that can kick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can get them. But I'm gonna give you another guy that you got to draft. Here's the thing: a lot of people feel like Cool. All right. Here's my thing: Cool's missed way too many field goals for my liking. I tried to give him a little bit, but after today, he got to go. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
We just
I give him a mulligan because it's not easy It's not easy kicking in Chicago, y'all.
No.
You can't.
I'm going to take a guy because here's the thing: he's missed kicks in clutch situations this year. Too many of them. If you're gonna let him go, you go to Missouri and you go get that field goal kick out of Missouri, who got a leg on him, and he can kick in the cold. That Mevis. They call him the thicker kicker. That's his nickname. That's who you go get because this guy has kicked in cold weather. He can kick in anything you put him in, period. And the dude is consistent. I know he'll be a rookie coming in, but here's the thing. You've got to start addressing some of the issues. Cool's been really inconsistent this year. He started struggling last year. Yes, he's had an injury this year. Not going to sit there and excuse that, but here's my thing. You've even said this to us when we played for you. Hey, son, you got an injury, guess what? If you decide to play, if you get it, you play with it. If you out here playing bad, that's on you. If you know that you can't go, sit your butt down and let somebody else get in here and stop hurting the team. Period. I get that the job's on the line, but look, if you're not performing, you got to go. There's no excuses for that. Period.
And I'm glad you're saying it because I said this last week and y'all laughed.
Yeah, you did.
You did. And Killian, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
I told you I was gonna give him the benefit of the doubt before I jumped on him.
Now I did
jumping on him.
Well, I was just at work for the last show, but I was on his Tatum on the Thursday show. Man, he got to hit them kicks, man. Look,
exactly.
You go get Mevis or Mavis from Missouri, and you just draft him in the 6th, 7th round. Take a kicker and put that pressure on Cool. I mean, hey, that's what I think, man. You got to put his feet to the fire, man. Because like I said, your job. We have a lot of games that come down to field goals. A lot of games. And we need you to hit that. We need you to hit that.
And well, now I'm gonna say this about that. When your game is constantly coming down to field goals because your offense isn't doing anything, you got a bigger problem than the kicker.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely.
Offense can't sustain drives. Let's keep it real. Offense can't sustain drives. We said this, and we talked about this earlier. In a game like today, Bijan Robinson isn't a guy that you were gonna ride. Not in the snow. He's not built for that. He's a scat back. You gotta have a guy that's gonna be a one-cut downhill runner in a nasty, sloppy game like that. Tyler Algier or Cordell Patterson would be the guys that you use. Hell, I would even use Jonnu Smith in some plays because of his speed and his physicality. He barely touched the ball.
So it's got to be body blow.
Yes, body blow, and then
body blow, uppercut.
I want to ask y'all something. I'm going to ask y'all something.
It worked.
Yeah.
Y'all talking about kickers, okay? Like I forgot who said we got bigger problems. Name the kicker for the Eagles. Name the kicker for the 49ers. Name the kicker for a lot of these other teams that you don't hear the kicker kicking all the time because they don't need him. And if you got a guy that he's got to be part of your offense to make you good, you already got. Wait a minute,
you asked the question. Jake Elliott is the kicker for the Eagles, so I already knew that.
Well, because you're in Philly, you know that. Anybody that ain't
but
from
you
that
asked
area,
the question. Don't move the goalpost. You asked the question. I gave it to you. And the
49ers, I mean, but you live there. I'm talking about people that we don't know.
And here's the thing: Robbie Gould, who played for the Chicago Bears, is the 49ers kicker. Got let go. Wait a minute. He got let go out of Chicago because he literally cost them a chance in the playoffs. He got let go because of that.
Cody Parkin.
No, that was him. No, that was Robbie Gold. He got fired because
the
think
kicker
about it.
for the
Roquan Smith
Cowboys?
was on that defense at that time, and they held those boys in Green Bay.
I forgot his name.
All
but
Robbie Gold had to do was put it through the uprights, and he got fired and got sent to San Francisco because of that.
Well,
Hey guys,
when we got Young Way too,
Hold up, John. What you got, Brent?
I got to bounce, but hey, fire R. Smith. We got to stick together, man.
All right,
Yeah,
Coach.
man.
Hey, Happy New Year, Coach.
Happy New Year.
Now, here's the one thing that I brought up earlier on the scoring drive with Tyler. If you look at the formation that we lined up in pistol. You had Tyler out there. You had Bijan, and you had Cordero in the slot. We spread out that defense where Tyler was completely butt naked, wide open on the screen because they had to worry about who was getting the ball. Was he going to Cordero on a jet sweep? Was he going to Bijan on a counter, or was it going to be a dive run with Tyler? And it forced that defense to open up. And once we forced that defense to get off of get their ears from being pinned back, we saw what that offense could do. And here's the thing with our head coach, like Coach McGriff said, we have an incompetent head coach. Plain and simple, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
When you see how easily the offense scored on that one play, because it was a one-play drive.
Yep.
If you line up in that offense more times than not, you're forcing the defense to have to think instead of react. On that play, they have to think. They didn't get to react, and when they did react, it was already a little bit too late.
And think about this: the pass that Taylor Heineke missed going down the sideline to Van Jefferson, that was walk-in six. That was a walk-in six. He overthrew him. Van, here's the thing: Van ran a great route. That defensive back, he was on his hip behind him, but that's wide open in the NFL because all the guys can run. You got professionals on both sides. He literally beat that dude, literally had that route, and that was a walk-in six. The other pass play that Taylor Heineke missed was, if you remember the interception that he threw to number 49 when we were actually headed to that same end zone or whatnot. Remember, he actually had Cordero Hodge running wide open down the field and did not look. He did not look. He threw it underneath and threw a pick. He didn't go through his reads. So you had 14 points you literally could have had just like that.
We had 21. And there's one person that I've been highlighting this whole season and speaking highly on him all season.
Yep.
Mr. Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
You sucker ass, whatever you want to be. He put the ball on your behind, and you decided that I'm gonna just phone it home. I'm not gonna reach out. I'm not gonna stretch. I'm not gonna do nothing. You phoned him.
Give
I've
you
been
another
giving this man praise all season, and today he did exactly what I've been complaining about him for since we brought him in.
But it's not just him. Let's talk about the pass play that we had when we were driving down the field, because K-Dub and I were talking about this off the record when Cordero Hodge had that ball in between three defenders and literally did not hold on to the ball. Taylor Heineke put that in the perfect spot.
He put it on the money.
And you don't hold on to the football.
He threaded the needle. He threaded the needle
and put it on in. Now we know Heineke. Heineke is a gunslinger and he does things. But here's the thing: it's no excuses for some of the passes that were dropped today because those passes could have helped sustain drives. So let's keep it real. Outside of Drake London and Mac Hollins didn't touch the ball today for God knows I don't know why. But here's my thing: we truly don't have a top. Drake is the top receiver. We know he's the top dog. We truly don't have nobody to compliment this dude.
I said that last week.
And here's the problem.
Scotty Miller today.
That's what I was about to say. You didn't use Scotty Miller in the slot, and Scotty was eating last week.
Eating.
Again, this is all I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. Alligator Arms Pitts. You're definitely right. He went to the right school too. Went to University of Florida.
Alligator Arms.
Yeah, he literally lived up to the mascot at UF. I'm sorry, Coach. I'm sorry, Coach
I
McGrill.
understand. You get
Nah,
you
it's
got you
it's
with,
like we're
with pitch,
joking.
you get inconsistent play because like the week before he caught one where he grabbed it from behind and you say that's the guy.
That was a beautiful catch. But
You know,
here's the problem: we need consistency from a former first round pick. Everybody wants to call you the unicorn. They want to put the hat. They want to put the crown on you. Guess what?
They ain't been saying that lately.
Oh no! I ain't talking about. I'm talking about how the media talk about him. And we got some folks in this panel right now, and I'm looking at the top above you with that Army shirt on that talk. Yeah, I'm calling you out. You know I ain't got. You know I ain't hiding from it because I'm gonna tell you like this. I love the fact that you're going down that hill though, but at the same time, I want Pitts to do well. He's a Falcon, regardless of we liking the pick or not. He is a Falcon. What we need is consistency from him at that position because you're not playing like a first round pick, dog. You've had flashes, but you are not consistent. You've had all year to literally put yourself in that spot. You've had moments, but you've had more bad moments than you've had good moments.
Are we utilizing him properly though?
We've been putting. Here's the question: when he's been put in positions to get the ball, and he's been put in positions to do that, and he's been used, he's also dropped more than he's caught.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
you
he hasn't
asking
done
if
that.
he's being used. He's been being targeted.
Yeah, but
he's been being targeted a lot this year, more than he was last year.
Towards the end of the season, he's been targeted like he's been utilized like Glenn, but not at the beginning of the season.
That's what I'm saying.
At the beginning of the season, we were just running the ball. That's all we were doing.
Well, the excuse was Arthur Smith said to the media that he was injured. He was getting back into the rhythm of things. That was the excuse.
That's true. That is true.
That is
Yeah,
true.
that's all I'm trying to say. We would not
It
utilize.
wasn't him being injured. It was the fact that he was coming off of that injury and trying to get back to top shape. He was already fine.
We did not draft this man to freaking block on Jet Quick on the goal line.
Nope.
That right there has been the come up of Kyle Pitts this season. We've been using this man. We have not been utilizing
why
this man.
is it Kyle Pitts in goal line? Why is it Kyle Pitts lined up out wide on one side, Drake London out wide?
Thank you.
And when here's the question, Coach. Now you asked. They had sets. You asked.
You got
when
guys.
they've done that.
Let me finish. You got guys on this offense. Most of these guys that they have on offense are superior physical talents than everybody that they're gonna face. The problem is because of the incompetence, you don't have a guy who schemes these guys open enough so they can use their physical mismatch abilities on their and that's the problem. And these guys, just like us, get frustrated when they think I'm not being used by the way we should be used, and they go in the locker room. Y'all, us coaches, we hear y'all talk. Which coach would have did like them, man. Give you an example. You go look at Kansas City. He gets input from the players. You look at Seattle, they get input. The Jaguars, they get input from the players about what we do. Arthur Smith don't give a shit about what them boys think.
That's the problem.
The offense, you don't know what I'm watching games. I don't know what offense I'm seeing from week to week because it's always something different.
Because he tries to feed it to the media. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Is he hears all the naysayers and he wants to prove them wrong. 1 week, we didn't throw the ball enough. Here you go. He's throwing the ball 30, 40 times. Now, when you're in the red zone, this is my thing. This is what kills me. Now, you just mentioned something. Now, when we've had them lined up in the red zone, Desmond Ridder turned over the ball when we had him in sets. That's been an issue that we've had. Ridder had, let's see, after today's turnover today, that's about 8 turnovers 17. So far this season. 17. And 6 of them were in the red zone. So when we've had sets and had the right plays called, the problem is the quarterback is turning the ball over. So, and when he has thrown interceptions and he's put it in bad spots. So it's a mixture of everything, Coach.
So he got I think Ridder has 11 interceptions with the one today.
Yeah, 11 fumbles.
Yeah, 11 interceptions and 6 fumbles.
When the last time have you had Cordell Patterson and Bijan in the backfield or on the field at the same time? When the last time
that was today?
Last week. That was the last time you saw that.
Today.
Exactly.
Last week and today.
Okay.
And the problem is, again, we got this man being an offensive coordinator, and this dude couldn't coach himself out of a wet paper bag, even if you gave him a box cutter and a set of directions.
Coach McGriff.
It's the truth.
Coach McGriff, how often were you doing this on the field? Calling plays? Not looking at the field.
Can I answer that one, please,
Why
Coach?
Not looking at the field.
Why that play sheet so big?
Hey, hold up. Hey, I'm gonna answer this because I played for him. I'll tell you this: the only time Coach McGriff, when he was a head coach, when I played for him, only time he said something is when he stepped in on the offensive side of the ball. He never touched the defense. He said, "I want y'all to run Tampa 2, or we gonna blitz." He let the defensive coordinator do his thing. He never interfered. I give him Coach that. But on the offensive side, Coach had to come over there to the coordinator and say, "Hey, man, we're not running this. We're gonna run this right here because they're in this type of set." That's the only time he would get in. Other than that, he never had a play sheet in front of his
never
face.
called the plays because we did it during the week. I never called the plays.
Exactly.
I told him what to run against the scheme we saw, because that's what you're supposed to do as the head coach. You're there to manage the game, so you can see what they're not seeing. Because if I'm looking at a play sheet, I can't watch the game and see what the flow of the game is and what we need to do to make adjustments.
That's what I'm saying, Coach. Yeah. That's why I asked you that question. Because the way that Arthur Smith calls plays, his face is so deep in his play sheet, he's not seeing what's on the field. And then we have Dave Ragon, who's just there to be there. He's just taking up a seat. So how are we making adjustments to the defense that's on the field when he's not able to see what's on when he's out there?
Because he doesn't
play with Ritter.
That's why you need to bring in a real head coach.
Thank you.
We ain't good enough to beat those guys, and it was proven out there today.
You get a guy who's going to be a head coach, who's going to hire a coordinator and manage the game.
Thank you.
You win more than you lose when you're managing the game as the head coach.
Can you put in your resume, Coach?
Huh?
Can you please put in your resume, because as Jim Moore would say,
it ain't good enough. And you guys shouldn't write about us being a playoff team and all that bullshit. That's malarkey. We ain't good enough to beat those guys, and it was proven out there today.
It was proven today.
I mean,
Jim
like
Moore said it the
you
best.
heard me. Who I say to come. I mean, if I can get Lovie Smith or Jim Caldwell right now, I'm finding somebody.
Yeah, man.
We already said Steve Wilkes, Coach. If they don't want to go that route, we got Steve Wilkes, because he's chilling in San Francisco. He literally is helping out with that defense. But the thing is, as a head coach, he think about it.
Do you see what Houston coach is doing? You don't see the new rookie Houston head coach calling offense or defense. He's got his guys and he's trusting them and he's managing the game because he's been a coordinator enough to know now as a coordinator, I don't have to be in the pay sheet, but I still know what the defense is. I still know what the offense is. I can say, hey, run this. Hey, run this. Do this. Hey, on this situation, we need to bring pressure in this situation.
Well, you got to remember, Coach.
I don't need to call the play. I just need to manage the situation.
You got to remember, D'Amico started off with Mike Singletary. He started off with Mike Singletary. And outside of working with Singletary, he ended up working with Jim Harbaugh. So when you work with two guys who understand how to bring in talent and also how to manage a game from a coaching standpoint, if it doesn't rub off on you, you got to be a bloody idiot. That's the best way to describe it. Right. And this man understands to let those assistant coaches do their jobs. They went and got a first-round pick in C.J. Stroud, who's definitely starting to catch his wind. And then you get a pass rusher, out of Alabama, one of the best to ever do it. As much as it hurts to say that, because you had a chance to get him. And we passed on him, because we gave, we let those guys go up in a pick because we said we've needed pass rushers. That's something else. D'Amico Ryans understands how to scout talent. That's something else he does. And that was something he was groomed with. Unless you have someone who's groomed to do that, you're going to continue, as you said. Mediocrity is going to continue to produce mediocrity, period. So at this point, like you said, I want to beat the Saints, but if it's like this, it hurts to say this, but if it's going to get Arthur Smith fired, do what you got to do. Yeah. Go ahead and take the L. Because it's hard for me to say that.
Here's the only problem I have with this whole thing. I just think the owner don't give a shit about the fans of the Falcons fan. I don't think he actually cares. I think whoever's talked about is just a write-off for him. I think I start to believe that because, first of all, anybody that sees what's going on and doesn't do anything, you know what I mean? And I get kind of like being like the Rooneys. They don't want to get rid of nobody that they don't have to. But this is utter incompetence right here. This is utter incompetence, and you've already gave a man a chance to prove himself or make corrections, and he's already gave you and the fans his ass to kiss.
Yeah, the three-year plan did not work.
I got to say
Oh,
something.
wait a minute. We got somebody new into the building. We got C double Georgia Rican. What's going on, man?
What's up, Matt Catton? What's up, John?
What's going on?
John,
I saw my buddy John. Yeah.
John,
Hey,
you letting hooligans in my house now? What's going on? Man? I'm just
Hey,
joking.
look here. You left the door unlocked.
To be fair, no, John.
You gotta show
He didn't
some
leave the
love.
door open. No. He didn't leave the door unlocked. No. I just came through the window to fix me a sandwich. And I heard y'all talking about Arthur Smith. So I just wanted to say I had some thoughts.
Come on in. What you got?
Let me put it this way. So, all these people, especially on the radio station, they want to tell you, well, we still have a chance for the playoffs. Yeah, and I have a chance to be skinny. That ain't happening. The Falcons were 1-5 against the worst teams in like the top 5 of the draft. That's where you lost. That's where you're not going to the playoffs. It's because you have a coach who thinks he's a genius, who thinks he's a guru, but he tells us that the offense was flat today. Well, gee, you're coaching for your life. Trying to make the playoffs. Why would your offense be flat on this game of all games? It's because you're not a leader. He's not a leader. And I've been watching you guys. I love what y'all do. You had Larry on the other time, and I've been enjoying it, so I've been wanting to come on anyway. So, yeah, it's just, honestly, guys, I'm just fed up when I see Arthur Smith. How do you know he's lying when he's talking?
His mouth is moving.
Yeah. And not only that, but when Dukes and Bell likes to hold him in their arms and go, it's okay, Arthur. People love you. You're a good coach. The fans of Atlanta will love you. We'll back you no matter what. No, we won't. Atlanta deserves better.
C-Dub, wait till tomorrow. Wait till tomorrow, C-Dub, because Dukes and Bell gonna hang their foot in his behind on Monday. But Wednesday, when the press conference comes,
come in.
Smith, our head coach here, and he's been dealing with a lot of he's real good.
But here's the problem with Dukes and Bell, and I'm gonna say this. See, I'm an independent, so I can speak on this right here. Speak on this. The problem with 92.9 the game, the problem with them is this. You're getting paid, and I listen to them on the internet because I'm up here in Philly. You're getting paid by these organizations and these teams. So you're not going to rip into them. I live in Philadelphia. I'm from Atlanta. I live up here. I'm going to tell you just like this. The Eagles just lost to the Cardinals today.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you like this. Yeah, they pay these radio stations to talk about them, but let's keep this a buck. These fans are getting ready to rip into these boys. They going to the playoffs still, and their fans are still going to keep it real with you. They're going to say things that you're not going to like. They're already talking about, hey, if Sirianni cannot beat up on teams that he's supposed to, why do we have him here? Yeah, we got a good record, but here's the thing. What's the purpose of keeping him here if he can't win when it counts? I'm telling you what's been said, and I hear it, and it's funny as heck listening to it. The problem with living in Bible Belt country, my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, is the reason because we have too many people that can't be realistic about what's on the field. Now, I'm a diehard Georgia, everything except for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And I'm going to tell you right now.
You good.
We deal with the same BS with the dogs, and people sit back and talk about, oh, you shouldn't question Kirby. He won 2 championships. Yeah, and he pissed away a chance to get a 3rd. Let's talk about it. You live in the now. Stop living in the past. What have you done for me lately? The thing is, you cannot win when it counts. Arthur Smith, bruh, you got to go. I'm sorry, you got a nice trust fund. You don't have to worry about money. You good.
All right, so I got a question. Yeah, I got a question. I really do. Because my thought process is this. I want McKay gone. I want Arthur gone. And I don't care if Terry stays. I personally would get rid of him because 2021 draft, they set us back. Look at all those picks that they made and the guys they passed over. It's ridiculous. You picked a tight end over either a quarterback a lineman, or a freaking pass rusher. That I
wasn't on
still.
him.
Well, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna give you
Yeah,
this here. Hold up, because
yeah,
I
I
gotta I
got you.
gotta defend Terry on this one, because Myles Garrett, who came into the BirdCage and we talked to, Myles Garrett's talked to me off the record about it, and he mentioned it in the interview that we had. You go check it out if you hadn't seen it. Myles Garrett said it just like this: Terry Fontenot is there, and he's there, supposed to be the GM. But when it comes to drafting these offensive players and stuff, man, that's all Arthur Smith.
And that's
That's
what
not
I've been
Terry.
thinking too. Yeah, and that's
He's
what I've been thinking.
hamstring.
But what I was going to say is, if you're going to start over, you either got to make a choice to start over fresh, because you got to make sure, and you better make it clear then that if Terry's staying, here's why. Oh, we basically were giving Arthur Smith the keys to the castle, and then let the fans and let everyone ridicule you for being an idiot. But second of all, I want an experienced head coach. I don't want no more coordinators. I want either, if Jim Harbaugh's available, go get him. If Mike Tomlin's available, go get him. If Jim Caldwell is available, if Wilkes is available, get him. I want a guy that knows how to coach and delegate, because I'm sick of the coordinators and this guy's hot. Well, guess what? Next year he won't be. I mean, I would love to get Eric Bieniemy, but because I think he's the reason why Kansas City's looking bad, because, that and they have no receivers. But honestly, you got to be smart now. Arthur Blank has never hired an experienced head coach, and there's a reason for it, because he wants to put his fingerprints in the soup. And I remember John always talking about this. That's why I remember me and him going about that. Is Arthur Blank can't help himself. He wants to be on the sidelines with his plum suits and clapping and almost having a heart attack when his team loses. But it's like, dude, let your coaches coach. You are in Home Depot. You know how to delegate. Let your people be in charge. And they just don't, this organization, it's like they won't do it. They're going to make the same mistake. Either they'll keep him for another year, which will be a year too long, or they'll go in and they'll be like, well, we're going to keep him, but then fire him a couple of weeks into the season. Well, boy, don't you look smart now.
So C-Double, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You don't get rid of Terry Fontenot because of two things.
Yeah, I like Terry.
What he's done with the salary cap after what Thomas Dimitroff did to it over the last 10 some odd years.
Yeah,
And
like
then Terry Fontenot also built this defense. So he knows how to put a team together. He knows how to scout talent. He pretty much handpicked everyone that came to Atlanta this year in the offseason on the defense. He handpicked every single one of those players because he had a relationship with Ryan Nielsen when he was in New Orleans. The thing that we have to figure out is, what is Arthur Blank going? Is he going to man up and have a backbone and get rid of Arthur Smith, which he should have done at the bye week, or are we going to have to deal with him another year in the hopes that the culmination of their 3-year plan actually flourishes into what they've been preaching to the fan base since the day we hired them? So that's the biggest issue, is whether Arthur Blank is going to do his job. Because in all honesty, I would have got rid of him a long time ago.
Yeah.
You don't go 7-9, 7-9, 7-10, and then possibly this year we're going 7-9 or 7-10. That's 4 years of losing football. We have not been to the playoffs since 2017 when we lost to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Even with us having the opportunity to go to the playoffs this year, me personally, I wouldn't want us to do it, because one, that's going to force Arthur Smith to stay another year, and then number two, we're just building on more mediocrity, because again, you took a mediocre team that's limping or pulling his leg behind it and hoping to win winning a 100-meter dash. It's not going to happen.
Well, I got one thing I'm going to say,
Smith
Cam.
go.
I got one thing I'm going to say, and I got to go to the pulpit on this, because we've been on here for 2 hours, and we got to wrap this thing up. Time flies when you're having fun.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all us, man. It's all
Can I
us.
have one statement before I go?
Go ahead.
I would like.
Hold on. Go ahead, because you know I got to pass the collection plate one last time for the building offering now.
If I had a wish for the Falcon Nation, especially because my son right there, that Arthur Blank will sell the team to somebody who actually gives a shit about the city. That's what I would do, because he's got an inferiority complex, because first of all, he worried about what Georgia doing. Because I'll go back. I'd change everything from the helmet back to the old school things and find real people to run the organization and let them run it instead of trying to make it about me. I don't think Home Depot is good enough for him to make him feel good about himself. That's why he even got the team. He meddled too much, and he don't know what he's doing, and he won't hire the people to let them do what they need to do. That's what that would be my Christmas wish for next year for the Falcon Nation, that he sells to somebody who actually gives a shit about the people of Atlanta and the whole Falcon Nation.
I'm gonna say it like this, because we talked about Shaq. He loves the Falcons, and that's a guy that lives in the city, and he got more than enough money to air condition hell and pay for that team. But the question is, would you sell it to him? Because the man knows how to win. He's like, look, and he even said this: if he ever got a chance to own an NFL franchise, I'm not standing in the way. I'm smart enough to know I love the game. I don't mind signing the checks because I'm a pro athlete. I know to bring in the people that understand the game to help us win. That's one thing I can say about him. But with that being said, I got to say it like this: fire Arthur Smith. I got to end it on that note. So, ladies and gentlemen in the congregation, I'll say it like this: we are now in a position to where we thought we were going to be. We have Arthur Smith at the end of his rope. We're getting ready to nail him on the cross and put him in the tomb. But the difference is he ain't raising up after 3 days. We finna bury him and leave him right there in that tombstone. It's time for the Falcons to go ahead and bring in somebody who knows what they're doing. Give us a quarterback coach. Give us a head coach who is competent.
Lord Jesus.
Also, bring in Caleb McGarry's replacement and Jake Matthews. That's all I got to say. We're going to pass this collection plate round one more time for this building fund that we got. The Cages Municipal Baptist Church.
Well,
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
What more had need to be said? That Arthur Smith is trash. He's always been trash. He's never any that what it's gonna be. I hope we learn something this year about getting stuck up tight end coordinators.
Wow.
They're smarter than the average bear. But I'm gonna tell you like this right here must end. When are we gonna stop suffering from the Falcons Nation? As brother historian said, time is going to change. Time is going to change. And it changes right now. All I got to say is, Happy New Year, Falcon Nation. Arthur Smith, kick my ass.
Glory! Hallelujah!
And I'm gonna go ahead and start us in a hymn, ladies and gentlemen. But I know change don't come. Oh, yes, it is. Tell them, Brother Graybeard. It's been too long living, but I'm afraid to die. Oh.
I'll make sure I repent later on tonight.
I'm gonna need some liquor if I'm gonna sing.
You know it's bad when you got people sounding like a man beating a bag of cats.
Hey, John. Hey, listen. if my horrible church singing gets Arthur Smith's ass up out of here, I'm happy with it, my brother.
I agree with you 100%.
I stand on Arthur Blank's front porch. I was with a French coat on and a sign up in the air saying fire Arthur Smith and sell the team.
Hey, ho, ho, we shall go.
It's just like I always say. See, when you associated with a whole bunch of mess, it's just like farting in an elevator. When the person get ready to get on the elevator and open the door, he blinks. Oh, y'all, he don't know.
We all stink.
Hey, we got to bring back Reverend Prime now, because Prime pissed off at the Falcons too. But for all, we got to bring this back for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Just one time, I got to play this for y'all. He went away. He don't even want to deal with the Falcons now. That's a bad thing.
Oh boy, I'm gonna make sure I
boy.
Hey, I got a new theme song. I got a new theme song for Falcon Nation. I'm coming up.
Oh, there it is.
Side of Stone Mountain.
Wow.
And I'm doing my best to make it in.
Come on now.
We got a lamb to keep from crying over here.
I thought I saw him under the hill the other day.
I got to roll, guys.
All right, then. We appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. So,
hit me up, John, when you can.
Want to thank you guys for coming into the cage today. The benediction ceremony for the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith's, and we're pretty much preaching the repast for Arthur Smith's future funeral, ladies and gentlemen, with a pink slip. So, without further ado, we want to thank y'all. Y'all check us out on Thursday. Next Sunday, we're not going to have a post-game show. We'll have the halftime show, but it's some things that's going on. Got to take care of some stuff. But what we're going to do, especially on Monday evening, y'all check us out, 8 p.m. Monday evening. We're going to have a show dedicated to the game against the bad kids. Maybe we might get Arthur Smith to get fired and have something to talk about. So next week this week we got Daniel Flick also joining us on Thursday, Atlanta Falcons beat writer online for Twitter and also for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's social media group. So we definitely got a treat coming in, and boy, he definitely gonna have some things to say for everybody this week coming up. So we definitely appreciate you guys for coming in today. John, Bree, the magnificent Birdcage crew, Kibo, Miss Dog Nation, Dogs with Dynamite, and then we also had the Angry Puerto Rican, as his title said at the bottom. My guy, that just came in. Definitely appreciate that. Scoop is always on the ones and twos behind the stage. I got Island Mike, Nathan, so many people that support us throughout the season, man. We definitely appreciate it. Eldrick, C Double. It's so many people that we can't thank personally. So we're thanking all you guys.
Turbo.
And we want to wish you guys a happy new year.
Yeah, happy New Year. Y'all be safe out there, man.
Now, see, everybody could, some people lost some loved ones this year that didn't make it into the new year. Prayers out for everybody that lost loved ones this year. And also, the only thing that I'm not sad about is if Arthur Smith don't make it into the new year with us, ladies and gentlemen, as the coach. Let me make sure I put that out there. Let me put that out there. As the coach, I don't want him to make it into 2024 as Atlanta's new head coach. So without further ado, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Definitely has been fun this year working with you guys. We got one more show, and then we got some off-season stuff that we got for the fans too coming up. So y'all stay tuned for that. So without further ado, y'all stay safe. Enjoy your holidays. If you're going to be out
Happy New
partying,
Year, everybody.
Be
Happy
safe.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, sir. Y'all be easy. One.